8. In the cave of the old ones, Dottie and Jonathan got to their feet and groped toward the speaker whom they couldn't see. They heard the sound of a key in a lock, of a bolt moving, metal against metal, and then they saw a shaft of light as a gargantuan door opened just a crack into a lighted room. The door was round, and the light took the shape of a crescent moon. "Give a hand, please. Give a hand," the voice now said. "I'm not as young as I used to be." In the strong light and dark shadow, Dottie could begin to make out the owner of the voice. He was an old man, dressed in a robe of coarse cloth, like a medieval monk might wear. His head was bare, and his hair stood up in tufts, grayer even than Dottie's. Grabbing the metallic door with his gnarled hands, he gave his entire weight to opening it further. Dottie and Jonathan joined him. "Not too much, not too much," the old man said. "We'll only have to shut it again. Just open it enough to let you squeeze through." Once inside, they pushed the door shut behind them. They were in a small, well-lighted room with bowed metallic walls. At the far end was a doorway that opened into a long corridor. Very good, the old man said, rubbing his hands together. He stared at Dottie and Jonathan and they stared back at him. He was a remarkable figure, almost as tall as Dottie, but years older and bent with age. His eyes were more gray than blue, like a winter sky. His eyebrows were dark brown and bushy punctuation marks that gave his face a rather surprised expression. Dear, the old man said. "You," he pointed in Jonathan's direction, "aren't allowed. I'll have to put you out again." "If he goes, then I go," Dottie said. "But he's one of them, don't you see?" The old man said. "He's likely to cause problems for us all here. It won't do to let him in. You never know what one of them might be up to." "He's my friend," Dottie said. That may be, the old man said. "But still we haven't allowed it." "Then we'll have to search for Bobby and Elaine by ourselves, without any help from Hoffman," Dottie said, turning to the door. "Oh, please," the old man said. "I suppose we might make an exception just this one time. But, you see, I've never heard of a friendship between one of us and one of them before." "It's all right," Jonathan said sadly. "What he says is true. My other friends say it's a mistake to become friendly with one of you. We're supposed to keep our distance." "We're different," Dottie said. "But you're still my friend." Maybe you don't understand just how different they are, young man," the old man said. "Their form is all right. It's their substance that isn't. After a while you can pick it up at a glance. They're a little too clean, a little too tidy. They're greaseless, no oil glands. Gives them a different finish from ours. They're friendly enough, most of them. One grant you that. Yet they're not us. They're ersatz, and it won't do to forget that. For now, I suppose he can come along, if you insist. There's no harm as long as we keep a close eye on him. This way. Dottie and Jonathan followed the old man, whose monk's robe brushed the floor as he shuffled along. As they walked down the corridor, lights flickered on to illuminate their path. "You came just in time," the man explained. "We're having a town meeting." He took the last door to the right at the farthest end of the corridor, which led down yet another corridor. He paused before another rounded door. "We've been waiting for you to begin," he said. "We called a meeting as soon as we heard the commotion in the dunes. We've been waiting for you for a very, very long time." The open doorway revealed a conclave of men and women in monkish robes, perhaps 50 of them, seated in a semicircle around an empty platform. All of them turned toward the strangers who entered the room. The faces of the people gathered in the chamber were deeply wrinkled. Their hair came in several varieties of gray or white or silver. They were not merely old like Dottie, but ancient, antediluvian. Dottie muttered to himself, "Older than Noah's flood." It was a room full of Methuselahs as they walked. The people reached out to Dottie with lean and spotted hands. The old man guided them to the platform, where Dottie and Jonathan stood facing the crowd like Olympic champions. The audience of old ones rose to its feet and applauded, making a racket like a crowd at a basketball game. "One of them is ersatz," someone shouted. "But the other one's real," another voice responded. "Has it really happened?" Said a woman. "Has someone really come?" "What do you think?" Was the reply from Dottie's guide. The tumult rose and then subsided again. Dottie shyly asked, "Is Hoffman here?" "He most certainly is," came the old man's reply. He grabbed Dottie's hand and began pumping it up and down as if he were hoping to get water flowing up from a well again. "Hoffman is very pleased to meet you." "Then you're the great Hoffman." For the briefest of moments, Dottie felt like weeing for this ancient person with a bowed body. But then he reminded himself that this was the great Hoffman. the genius of a generation, a pioneer, a visionary, a living, breathing man of history. You'll help us, won't you? Dottie asked with such earnestness that there could be only "I know you can help us" one answer. The old man straightened, lifting his great head from his chest. The face broadened as the mouth stretched across it. The gray blue eyes looked out into the audience and beyond it. He was like a crumpled sail that had filled with air, like a unfurling in a steady breeze. Flagged the great Hoffman, he said, more to himself than to Dottie or Jonathan or the crowd of old ones. The great Hoffman will help you find your brother and your sister. He filled his chest with air and bellowed out his promise. Of course, I will. Well, I was the great Hoffman, the old man replied thoughtfully, when I was younger. Now, it's just plain old Hoffman, I'm afraid. The crowd of old ones laughed. Dottie began pumping Hoffman's hand. If the arm had been a handle, it might have fallen from its socket. Overcome with joy, Jonathan rushed up to Hoffman and hugged his brown, shapeless robe. The crowd whispered and nodded. There was a smattering of applause, a cheer, and then quiet. We're so glad to find all of you. Dottie crowed, his voice cracking with emotion. You'll know how to rescue Bobby and Elaine and help us get back to Earth. Rescue? Inquired Hoffman. He seemed shaken. You want me, you want us, to help rescue you. He made a strange muffled noise that sounded vaguely like a giggle and yet a little like a sob. Dottie was confused. Why, yes, of course. That's why we came to you. We need your help. The room fell silent. What's wrong? Dottie asked. Not a voice replied. Is there anything the matter? The silence settled in like a heavy fog, gloomy and impenetrable. Can't you help rescue us? He looked at one face after another. Why do you all look so sad? Hoffman cleared his throat. He began. It's just that we've been waiting for someone, for anyone, for almost 30 years. He paused long enough to catch a sob in his throat before it could escape. 30 years. 30 long years of deprivation and isolation. 30 years that saw our hopes dim like a dying candle. And now that you've come, you tell us that you need rescuing. He was able to continue only with great difficulty. You see, we have been waiting for you to rescue us. Oh, said Dottie. Oh, I see. And I don't suppose you know where we can find my brother, Bobby? Or how we can rescue my sister, Elaine? Hoffman had managed to stop crying but still appeared thoroughly mournful. I'm afraid not, lad. I wouldn't know where to begin.